If you're a pianist, you probably feel strongly one way or the other about improvising. You either love it or hate it. Maybe a better word than hate is are afraid of it, or don't know how, or aren't sure where to start. We can all admire great improvisers, but we don't have to reach that level to be able to explore our own creative potential. Plus, it's just fun sometimes. So I have 8 simple ways that you can use to get started with improvising today, even if you were taught or are learning piano the traditional way by reading music notation. If you're anything like me, you lean towards perfectionism, and so it's difficult to begin something like improvising because there are going to be times when you don't sound perfect. So the number one easiest way to begin improvising is to simply play around on the black keys. Because of the way they're arranged on the piano, it's impossible to make any sounds that are bad. Everything will sound harmonious and like you meant to play it that way. So you're building confidence and courage. You can also focus on improvising interesting rhythms or different patterns between the hands. Most pianists know at least some scales, so why not use a scale and see how many different ways you can reach the top note rather than just a straight line to the top. Try to establish a pattern. Maybe it'll be up 2 notes, then down 1 until you reach the top. Or maybe you'll outline a chord with the low notes outlining the scale. And don't limit yourself to C major. If you know other scales, play around with those as well. Then take it up a notch and try to harmonize your scale. Now, this doesn't have to be complicated and sound like a perfect Bach harmonization. Let's not worry about rules right now. If you're unsure of what to do, start by playing chords that match the scale. For example, if you're playing a C, play a C chord with the other hand. D, D chord, either major or minor. And then push it a little bit and try other chords. Sometimes it's fun to purposely make it sound as dissonant and horrible as possible. You can harmonize your scale with 1 note, 2, 3, or even 4. Again, no rules, just add some extra notes to your scale. Pull out some simple piano pieces you could usually sight read, and every 4 bars or so, change 2 to 3 of the written notes. Now, do not do this with pieces that you're actively learning and practicing because that'll potentially mess things up in your head. Just make a few tweaks to the melody and listen to how it changes things. Don't plan out your changes before you play. See if you can do it on the fly or in the moment. After a while, you might decide to change a few more notes. This exercise strengthens my ability to think on the fly and begin to develop a sixth sense about how to create the sound I'm thinking in my head on the piano. Another suggestion is to find a simple kid song or folk song like Orally, then improvise your own variations on that theme. I've included a link to a simple arrangement of this piece that you can use as your theme, and then start by following the same structure. Use the same chord outlines and the same melodic structure while adding your own flair and notes to your variations. Then take it a step further and change one or two chords. Try to have a specific mood you're aiming for and don't overcomplicate it. I want this to sound like a wounded yet innocent bird who's been hurt so bad in the past. Sad, upbeat, scary, silly. Those simple descriptive words are good enough for now. If you're ready to improvise something completely on your own, start easy by playing just a left-hand pedal tone, either a bass note or by adding the interval of a fifth above. Then play a right-hand melody over the top. Although improv rules aren't the point of this video, it is helpful to establish a time signature, tempo, and mood before you begin. So I'm going to try something in 4/4 time, slowly, and melancholy. If you don't want to make a melody, use a simple two-chord progression over and over and see how many ways you can vary those two chords using different blocked and broken patterns. Now, you don't have to limit yourself to two chords only, but two chords is enough if you're feeling overwhelmed. I have a video on different chord pattern ideas if you need some inspiration. Finally, take a familiar melody and add different harmonies to it. This is called reharmonization, and it's a great exercise to enhance your feel and understanding of chords. Begin by setting some parameters again. This will help you be more creative and just get started. For example, if we took the tune Ode to Joy, You could say, okay, this is in 4/4 time, so I'm going to add a new chord on beat 1 of every other measure. Or on beat 1 of every measure. While improvising, if you feel like you made a mistake, or you played something that doesn't sound like you wanted, challenge yourself not to stop. Make it a game. See if you can at least finish out the phrase. My organ professor always told me if I played something that sounded like a wrong note while improvising, just dig in and play it again wrong in the next measure, because then it feels like you played it that way on purpose. But that's the goal, to not stop. Use your musical knowledge and instincts to get to the end of the phrase somehow. Being able to improvise well is a combination of many factors, including how well you can actually play the piano, your knowledge of chords, scales, basic music theory, your training, and just doing it more often. And that's what this video was about. Just doing it. But if you want to improve all of these skills needed and you're a beginner to early intermediate pianist, check out the membership at Piano Roadmap. You can get more details at my website, and I'll see you next time.